I feel like a broken record, but it feels like every single map they have a chance of winning, but they just can't convert it. So it's always that wait and see idea. We do have Fatebringer on Milo though, that combo, the Nano Blade that we saw them utilizing quite well in the past.
What I do like to see is the fact that Surge so far have been pushing Alter Ego, and maybe pushing as an adjective isn't quite accurate, because when I say pushing, I mean like going into overtimes, forcing into within 35 seconds of finishing the map, that kind of tightness. So for Surge, I think you've been right the whole time. It's just that, you know, I think at the beginning and at the end they sort of get there, but in the middle they fall to pieces quite easily.
Yeah, still an exciting prospect perhaps later on down the track, needing a bit more time to gel as a team or something like that. Who knows where they'll be by, say, for example, Contenders Season 3 if they're still hanging around. But for now, they're going to be starting off on the defense. No, the attack, in fact, as Alter Ego are starting on the defense.
This is a great opening interception, though, and because of it, you're going to see Milo picking up a couple kills here. But they don't want to overextend, because this is what it looks like when you overextend, and Surge are kind of falling prey to what they showed Alter Ego on Nepal themselves, and Alter Ego now just going to walk on the point for free. Yeah,
no real concerns for them right now. Dollar's under a lot of pressure, and he's very, very low. So, yeah, I mean, that was easy, I guess, for Alter Ego.
It was a little bit of a tricky start, though, because Surge had the right idea. They wanted to go in early. They wanted to stop the rotation from Alter Ego, and that's fine. Pick up a kill, be respectful, don't overcommit, and you're good, right? But if you're Surge and you decide to go for a little bit more when you shouldn't, that's when Alter Ego strike back.
All right, well, Trace getting around the side of point B, and this is where we see a lot of the problems, really, is point B, but 6.5 minutes, that's a lot of time for Surge to try and hold on to, and Trace has already found both of the healers, getting a Pulse Bomb up very, very shortly, forcing them both back into spawn, and no one's helping those healers out. Pulse Bomb! Not going to get anything. That's a little unfortunate there for Trace, but still, is pulling 3 players away from the main fight, and that is where we're seeing the advantage start to come into effect for Alter Ego.
There was also a lot of time that Trace bought for his team, and now that time is being paid off. PB and Jam going to look for a couple here, finds 2, and this could be a very early cap out, because Milo gets denied his own Dragon Blade.
Yeah, that was absolutely huge. Oh my goodness, that might be the fastest cap I have ever seen.
Dear.
On Hanamura in AU Contenders, and I think Odeer might be pretty much summing it up there for Surge. That's not good.
What is it, 138 is my math correct?
Yeah.
148, 138. It's, that's pretty good. Look, the world record for Hanamura is something like in the 128, so they weren't even that far from that, just 10 seconds faster. A world record for like professional games, if I'm still correct on that. Someone might need to check Winston's lab for me, but either way, look, that was fairly ridiculous coming out from Alter Ego, and a lot of things falling apart very quickly for Surge. Start off with that opening blunder, lose too many players, allow the A-cap to go through. Now, a lot of what happens after the A-cap goes through on the very first attempt for the attackers is they get this huge snowball. They don't always get it if it's later on in the game, but after a first fight win, they do get this ultimate advantage. They do get the snowball, and look at how quickly they got those ultimates as well. For Surge, timing was all off. No one had ultimates. Milo dies just shy of his. It all just kind of falls apart.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like that, a bit of a snowball kind of coming into effect there, and Alter Ego definitely took advantage of it. Now Surge has a momentous task ahead of them to try and fight this one off. I mean, let's see what they decide to go for. I mean, Milo on Sombra, Tracer for 4-star, fairly standard stuff, but I don't know, maybe they need to sort of just throw caution to the wind and try something a bit crazy here, because I'm not sure they're going to beat Alter Ego's time with standard.
Yeah, on the other hand, though, I think if they do go standard, it's a little bit safer, because the other problem is if you do go too off-kilter, you do something a little bit too weird, the other team can just sort of counter that as well. They can say, okay, we'll adapt to what you're doing. You want to play weird, we'll play weird. Maybe not, but we'll just counter what you're trying to do here. Easy to read, easy to directly counter. So for Surge, another way to play the game is play the standard game, but play it kind of, you know, safe isn't really the right word here. I guess clean would be the more correct term to use.
I don't think that you can play safe when you're up against a time like 6 minutes and 12 seconds in the bank, because you need to take those risks and make them pay off.
Efficient is the word, actually.
Yeah, definitely needs to be efficient out here from Surge. So let's see how their first push does go in onto the point. This is looking not too bad as they focus down the D.Va, get the D-Mech across, fall back, PB and Jam under a little bit of pressure now and does actually go down early on in the piece. So this is the perfect opportunity for Surge now to get some points early on the first cap.
And they can't be wasting time either. Can just get that advantage straight away. It's already 6 versus 4. Make that a 6 versus 3. Get this cap on over and snowball to be just like Alter Ego did to you.
Well, they're not really following up with the kills that they do need, and we're seeing some trades back for Alter Ego as well. This is all sort of falling apart right now for Surge. It looked so good for a moment, but the respawns must be coming in shortly for Alter Ego, and yes, while they're kind of going 1-for-1, that's not what we wanted to see from Surge. We wanted to see them rolling over this first point, giving us a strong contest on the second, but in fact, they're not even able to get a single tick.
Just seems like they lack the confidence there after they killed PB and Gem. In fact, after they demixed Sandboy, they needed to be in full go mode. They can't waste any more time. Just get straight onto the point. Find your next kill. Find the ticks. Find the caps. Start snowballing through. But Surge, just a little too slow on the approach. A little unsure about what the next move was. Couldn't put the next foot in front of the last.
That was a nice sleep as well out from Xiaobao just to buy a little bit more time there. Pulse Bomb does go a bit awry for 4-star. Still going to continue forward, look for some more kills. Trace has got the tactical visor on, looking to deny any sort of positioning there for Surge, and it's certainly working out quite nicely as across the board the wipe does start to come into effect. Tuxedo gets 1, but all said and done, not really what Surge was looking for.
Surge are going to be walking into a huge wall of ultimates here. Yes, they do have some of their own, but, you know, importantly, I think for Surge, the one advantage they can use here is the EMP. Ultimate advantage, or ultimates in general, don't mean much if the EMP lands on enough people. Take those ultimates out of the fight. For Surge, they need to identify that right now. Look for the perfect EMP. That's how they're going to win.
PB and Jam is quite far from the fight, and that's a great pick again. Fate just goes down early on in the piece, and that wasn't even like Fate was under pressure. Essentially just walking into shurikens there. PB and Jam spamming away, and it loses the fight here once more for Surge, as they're just dropping once again off the side of the map and across the board.
This is where you need to see Surge, again, going back and trying to extend these fights a little bit longer. You don't even have to be concerned about charging extra ults for the enemy team. Look at Alter Ego. They got enough ultimates. They're not going to charge that much more, but what you can do is get extra ultimates. Surge now sitting on top of 6. That means they can waste even less time. You're not going to get more powerful than 6 ultimates.
Yeah, and Milo is so far away from this fight right now, going to be having absolutely no impact. PB and Jam, though, speaking of no impact, doesn't get anything done with that Dragon Blade, and here comes the EMP out from Milo. Is it going to be enough to win the fight, though? It doesn't seem like it is, because we see the Transcendence out from our Kraken, keeping everybody alive. Tuxedo able to get 1, trace the trade back, though, and the self-destruct across. Not a whole lot out of that one from Tuxedo, but buys a little bit more time, and time is not something that Surge can utilize at this point. They're already very far behind. They need to win this fight. They need to cap this one out. It's just not happening.
And for Surge as well, eliminate any grandeur, any illusions of grandeur of capping out in 6-12 as well, with 6-12 rather remaining in the time back. Right now for Surge, it's just about capping out at all. If you can finish this in overtime, you'll take it. If you can move into a time back where you were 6 minutes and 12 seconds behind, you will still take it. But for Surge, first things first, get past 8.
Oh gosh. Every single time someone walks into these doors, there's a sleep coming across, no one waking that div up. Again, buys more time here for Alter Ego just to hold off that point. 10 seconds. This is going to be the final fight available here for Surge. They don't have anything to play with. No ultimates even close to coming up. Maybe 4-star can get something done here if he gets a pulse bomb up pretty quickly. But straight onto the point go Surge. PB and Jam being a pest around the back. No kills as of yet, and the hack does come across, but still, Fatebringer goes down early. PB and Jam can't climb up the wall there because he's still hacked. The fight, though, still favoring Alter Ego right now as they start to get some of their ultis available. Milo does get an EMP across, but it's far too little too late at this point. Surge gonna completely get shut out, and that was a very, very dominant Alter Ego on map 3.
Extremely incredible attack, followed by a solid defense, not letting a single percentage point go through on even that A cap. And it's almost the same story repeating itself, but more severe this time around and more favored for Alter Ego, at least in the last couple of maps. Surge kept it kind of close this time around, though it was all Alter Ego.
Absolutely.
Well, that was more one-sided than something that was really, really, really one-sided, because that was really one-sided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's two things, right? There's one where you go, wow, that was a pretty impressive first attack. And I think that's we talk about, you know, being able to snowball and push through. That's one of the things about Assault, right? There's no payload to slow the game down. There's no like, oh, well, we can let them push forward, but it doesn't really matter because the payload's back there. If you can come through with those ultimates, you can come through, you know, really, you can just push the point, and that's exactly what we saw. On the flip side of that, we were still hoping that Surge could do something on attack, and maybe it would be a struggle, but show us something other than getting stuck on that first point.
I was hoping that they were at least going to be able to cap that out and give us an overtime there. And, I mean, once you lose to an attack like that, it kind of always feels like the map is going to be lost eventually. So maybe it's kind of better to get it over and done with, start focusing on map number 4. At this point, the series, though, does go to Alter Ego 3-1, 3-0.
At what point do you say it's all over and done with practically at this point? Because it is 3-0. We're going to go to a map number 4, and the maps are important because, as we keep saying, down the track, that for and against really may mean something. Well, we saw it happen in Overwatch League, and we may see it happen here in Contenders Australia. What
I will say now is, though, that I feel pretty safe about my bet that I made earlier on this week, where I said that I would dab on stream.
If you were to dab on stream, Jordan, what would that look like? Do you want to give us a demonstration of how, if you... No?
That's not how this works. But yeah, if Surge won a series, well, they've only got one more series after this one, and if I'm not mistaken, it's against Sydney Drop Bears, so I'm feeling pretty safe in my...
What if that's the comeback? What if something were to happen, just, you know, and then you end up... Would you do it? Are you actually going to... All right,
yeah,
show us. Give us an example.
No, that's cheating. Then you get 2 dabs for the price of 1. That's
right.
I'm not that cheap.
We're just trying to make sure you can do it. Like, you're not just, you know, sort of tricking us.
I've been practicing in front of the mirror at home.
Good.
I don't doubt that at all. When he's with his shirt off, mind you. So, what will map number 4 be? I want it to be Junkertown. It is Junkertown. You can't... Honestly, I think Australian Contenders should just be Junkertown for map number 4 over and over. I don't think it should change. I don't know if that's necessarily fair, but look, I don't care.
I feel like you're a fanboy of Junkertown.
I'm a fanboy of Junkertown.
Okay, this is the thing is, and I'm a New Zealander, so you can answer this for me, but where physically in Australia would Junkertown be?
In the middle.
Yeah, Alice Springs or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a big country. I don't know if you've been here before, AVRL, but it's not like an island. It's not like, are you from the north or the south? And then you know everyone. If you're from the south, you know everyone from the south. And if you're from the north, okay, that's probably not actually what New Zealand is like. Okay, I'll give you that much. But I don't know. The answer is I don't know.
Somewhere in the middle of Australia, the place where we don't go, where no one really goes.
Exactly.
Where you shouldn't go.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Where Junkertown magically
Well, isn't that the concept behind Junkertown?
Is this like the El Dorado of Australia, except it's just junk? And not gold.
Well, there's a lot of gold there.
There is gold.
Actually, no, you're right.
There
is a lot of gold there. And I stand corrected. There's a ton of gold there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone make your way to Alice Springs, find the gold.
The real question is, can Surge do anything? Can they win this map? Because right now, at the start of today, I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
This is going to be kind of close, but maybe I think Alter Ego probably has it, but Surge is going to bring it, and it feels... Is it hard at this point? You said it was a psychological thing. After that, what do you do to come back?
To come back from that, you write off Hanamura altogether. You just eliminate it from your memory. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Look at Nepal. What were the strengths of Nepal? Look at Hollywood. Where did you win on Hollywood? Bring that over to Junkertown. Just forget Hanamura even happened. Think of the gold at the end of the map, and that's how you're going to win.
But you're blowing up the gold, right?
No, but there's more gold. Look.
There's just gold everywhere.
Right.
Among junk. It's junk and gold.
Okay, not can. Are Surge going to win this map, AVRL?
Probably not, no.
Elfishguy?
Unfortunately.
No. I'm not even going to give it a probably. I'm just going to say no. Look, at the start of today, I said I thought Surge could take a map, even 2. Now, no, not a chance.
I want to be nice and say, like, it could be close, but yeah.
I want it to be close, but they haven't. Prove us wrong, Surge. Prove us wrong. This is your last shot today. All your fans are watching, and show us just how good you are. Alter Ego, on the other hand, well, good luck, and let's see how it goes.
I don't think they need luck at this point, Ben. I think they're quite confident regardless. Surge is definitely not having the success they would have wanted to. But
yeah,
let's find out. They're on the defense.
By the way, Surge also don't need luck. They need a miracle at this point, and maybe they can find one, but it will be difficult.
Close.
And that's the thing. We know PB and Jam is a good Widowmaker as well.
Well, he's getting some connections, but not the headshots that he needs. So far, though, that's a very, very scared Zenyatta. And
you can't play scared against a Widowmaker. That's like that's how you lose to Widowmaker. So for Surge, focus on, well, there it is. You know, Milo down.
Milo down and out early on in the piece. Probably not really much of a chance of a res out on that side of the map either. PB and Jam is going to continue forward, pushing more and more pressure on the healers of Surge. And oh my goodness, Dollars goes down. Solglos as well.
PB and Jam going to cash that one straight into the bank of dollars.
Yeah. I mean, what do you really have to say about this? Like,
it's the other thing is there's two big threats. In fact, I'm going to say three big threats because Sad Boy's on a hog as well. So the Hook at any point could just get a kill. PB and Jam at any point could get a headshot. And while you're looking at all of that, you've got Trace and bullets across the screen on this Bastion as well. You got to deal with all three of these threats, and they're not all in the same place at the same time either. Yeah,
it is a really, really difficult composition to deal with, particularly when you're behind and sort of that momentum, the payload is rolling, you can't really get a fight that you want. It continues on forward, and there's nothing that you can do about it. They do have 4-star here that can drop the shield relatively quickly, but even past that, what are they going to be able to follow up with? I'm still just a little bit surprised even by that grapple, first of all, but also by Surge's composition. Like, what is this meant to be? It's like kind of sort of dive because you're running D.Va and Genji, but then not really because you're running Hog and then kind of a you know, the Junkrat as well. So they're kind of just deciding what they want to do, but that's a start. Yeah, it's a start,
Gets res.
But the Mercy's there, so it's all fine for Alter Ego as they get themselves set up once again.
I gotta say, Alter Ego want to beat their record on Hanamura at this rate.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it's looking like. It's a little bit disappointing, but whenever you see something this kind of, you know, this is how the game is unfolding, and Control's a really good example of this, but when you see a 100-0, which is a huge shutout, the team that's losing has a chance. There's some point where the team has a chance to climb back in. Is it right now?
Well, is it? Milo has to come up big here. He's not been able to get anything there, and Trace in the tank form has... Oh, PB and Jam took a little while to line it up, but gets the job done. That's what you want to see, and so far, not a single fight has even looked close. I mean, they haven't even really looked like fights. It's just been looking like a firing range, really.
Well, the closest fight was, oh gee, 4-star getting a double kill on the Ty, and now Dollar switching onto the Winston. Now we're getting a little bit more closer to this dive, and by the way, Alter Ego still running the pirate ship, and it has been continuously working, and it will continue to work as long as they have cart control. For Surge, if they can get the Bastion off the cart, they can get Alter Ego to force a full reset, that's how you beat the pirate ship.
Yeah, well, at this point, it doesn't even really matter if they can beat the pirate ship because there's still heaps of time for Alter Ego to adapt and change up their team composition. They still have enough time to charge up ultis or anything like that.
Trace
so yes,
down.
The Bastion does get dropped, but so far, it's not really resulting in too much as our Kraken again coming up pretty big with that Zenyatta. It seems as though there's threats everywhere across the board. Holy moly! How many kills has he just got there? 3 plus the D-Mech.
What I will say, though, you know, they've accomplished step one. You want to look at this step by step as well. Get rid of the Bastion, force him off the cap. They're kind of coming back onto it now, but there is a normal Bastion.
Yeah, exactly.
That's something they can work with.
And Trace moving on to the Tracer, I mean, is that even favorable here?
It's favorable for Alter Ego. You'd rather be on the Tracer once you've had to force a respawn. And for Surge, I think it's going to allow them to get on the cart a little bit easier now the Bastion's gone.
All-Star looking for something with his Riptire. Can't get anything done. That is indeed a rest in peace tire. Milo does get rid of PB and Jam, which is, I suppose, the start of something there for Surge. And it sounds like he's got his Dragon Blade out as well. Should get the Mercy here. Nope, it's going to be PB and Jam to go down again. That's very, very unfortunate for him. Gets up and then gets down again. If I get knocked down, I get up again. And then I get knocked down again, apparently. The fight does go the way of Surge.
How many times you get back up, right, Jordan?
Yeah.
That's what counts at the end of the day.
Finally a fight for Surge, though.
And importantly, kind of at the end, and this is really interesting because at this point in time, if you're the attacking team, the card is so far at the end, if you win one attack, you just win the game, right? But also for Surge, the card's so far away defensively for the attacking team that it's going to take them a long time to reinforce, so Surge can definitely make use of the defender's respawn advantage in this case.
PBM Jam just looking for some picks right now with that Infrasight. And there's an opportunity. Oh,
goodbye,
great
Milo.
shot. Milo goes down. Oh, Sorglow's down as well. Let's see what PBM Jam can do. Can he follow up with another one? Not quite. Fatebringer flying around a little bit too difficult to hit there, but that's definitely opened things up right now for Alter Ego. PBM Jam making the difference. Fatebringer's a one-shot, and the call-out would be there, but no one to follow up on it. Unfortunately, even though PBM Jam goes, oh no. That's just a little bit of egg on the face, but realistically speaking, PB and Jam got a lot of work done there. Just no one else seemed to be able to get much past that.
Well, the thing is, it was like almost a sick highlight reel, right? It had all the pieces that the first 2 headshots, going into the third, misses the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th shot, and it's like, well, okay, not so much anymore. And then, like you said, egg on the face. PB and Jam deflected the headshot right back at Alter Ego rather. And what were the rest of Alter Ego doing? Look, PB and Jam got kills, but everyone else didn't quite get there.
No, PB and Jam has decided to swap off onto the Genji. Like I said, still a lot of time here for Alter Ego to adapt into these fights, and they've had a couple of lost ones in a row, but still 2 minutes on the clock, and this one starting to look a little bit better. Self-destruct is coming out there, but nothing from it, really. Milo with the Dragon Blade, also nothing from it, so this is not looking very good for Surges. They utilize a lot of their ultimates, but not getting a lot out of any of those ultimates.
And it's hard to meme Milo because he's got a Milo Blade, and that's both good and bad. Sometimes he goes off, other times he doesn't go off, and right now it's not really happening. Alter Ego look like they're just about to cap. Milo looks like he's about to go down again, and it could be all over, and it is.
It is. No one even being able to touch that one. Overall, it's not a bad time for Alter Ego, but they certainly would have felt like they could have done better given the start that they had.
I would say it's not a bad time for Surge, actually, because for Surge, when you look at how poorly they defended A, how poorly they defended B, to then get this kind of turnaround on C, again, when it matters most, when you sort of get towards the point where, oops, we're almost losing, time to kick it up a notch, time to put it into the next gear, Surge seemed to kind of be able to do that most of the time, some of the time maybe, and right now that was kind of an example of that, because forcing it to 1 minute 34 after a great start from Alter Ego, that's pretty decent from Surge. Good recovery.
Yeah, they definitely did slow things down enough to make this competitive, assuming they can actually cap out all 3 points.
That's a big if, right?
My major concern is that first part of the map here, if PB and Jam decides to go on to Widow, which of course you would at this point on that defense, how is Surge going to deal with this? Are they going to take 4-star and put him on the Widow themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Is 4-star going to be able to deal with PB and Jam? I don't know.
That's one way to go about it. I think the other way is, like, you can beat Alter Ego right now with superior flanks. Look at Alter Ego's composition. This is a very front-facing composition. They want the brunt of Surge to be facing them head-on, a collision course, if you will. So for Alter Ego, they need to protect their flanks, and for Surge, they need to exploit these flanks, work their way around. Maybe a Sombra would be a good play here. Tracer's already onto the Sombra. Surge might need to look for that themselves as well.
I haven't seen too much of Trace on the Sombra. Typically just been on the Tracer.
Mm-hmm.
But PB and Jam, that's going to be the key here for me. Keep an eye on him.
Tracer's really been flexing on this map, right? Because he's already played some Bastion, and now he's onto the Tracer as well. And it's interesting comp for Alter Ego, because usually you would see a Junkrat here with the Widowmaker, but it's going to be the Espionage instead onto the flank.
Yeah, and that might be a little bit difficult to get rid of the Bastion on that point. Of course, Orisa can use Holt and pull him off, and again, PB and Jam just opening things up very, very nicely. Sorglos gives him the opportunity. And it is taken there by PB and Jam. The res does come across from Fatebringer. Is there going to be one here for Xiaobao onto PB and Jam?
Well, I think Milo kind of figured it out right. You know, that's kind of how you want to take down Alter Ego. Take them from the sides, get the flanks on, kind of forcing Alter Ego out of position slowly, but you don't want to be losing members right now. Hide them behind the shields, poke them out with your damage, and that's how you're going to get into this fight. For Surge, just got to look for that regroup for the time being.
Oh, and Tuxedo just dancing around in that Baby Diva.
He's living.
He's living because he's being pocketed. But see, that wastes so much time. If he would have gone down straight away, instead of taking that extra 30 seconds to try and build up the mech again, would have already been back straight into a push. But now, they're back in spawn, waiting for those respawns. 4-star swapping again onto the Widow.
To be fair, you know, the really difficult thing here is that Surge don't even have the cart at the most difficult to push place. There's a kill box just a little bit further on underneath the bridge.
Yeah.
That is usually the hardest place to push past. And so far, Alter Ego are just kind of semi-spawn capping Surge. Look, Surge can barely make it out before PB snipes someone down, and that's always a heartbreaker.
Yeah, PB 60% on the ultimate again.
But the cart regressing just so far back, they're just losing a lot of progress right now.
Trace has got control of the other, like the flank as well, so it should be a fairly easy. Never mind. Does get picked up a little bit by the Tracer. Milo putting pressure on there, and Dollars diving in. Now this is looking a little bit better. The dive comp starting to work out. Winston, Diva.
Oh!
Oh, Milo.
Collects 3, including himself.
Yeah.
That's an extra kill. That's an extra kill.
But it's not going to be enough for them to cap out this first point. We'll still see a contest here from Alter Ego.
But this will be a hard contest because now we're out of the difficult area for Surge. We're out of the frying pan. We're definitely out of the fire as well for Alter Ego. They might still want to come in here, but they're not favored to win this fight. They're not going to be fighting into 4-star with great sight lines. They're going to be fighting to Surge with great positioning.
Well, Trace gets a good EMP off. That might be the difference here. PB and Jam does have Infrasight on as well. So lots of important, impactful ultis out there for Alter Ego. And there's just nothing that Surge can do to counteract that when they're all hacked up.
Surge also forgot to kind of hold aggressively at doors. They just sort of said, okay, we're capping, Alter Ego going to come out, and they're coming out. We're not going to do anything about it. Then all these ultimates land on top of us. 4-star couldn't carry the weight of the team like PB kind of does sometimes. At least he did get that kill into PB. Now Rez, but 1 minute remaining. Cut's pretty far away. Not looking great.
Not looking great indeed right now for Surge. Alter Ego probably need to win 2 more fights here, and then the map is going to be over. PB quite content to actually take that aim duel with 4-star. Neither of them connecting a whole lot. And Trey still buzzing around the back there, being a problem. 4-star is going to come up onto the
flank here to see what he can find, but yeah, he's just taking pot shots, and the issue is, while he's taking these pot shots, Surge, the rest of the members are going down, and now Control steadily going back into Alter Ego's favor. In fact, they've had it now for about 2 fights. 4-star even being sent back to spawn. 25 seconds remaining. They're still waiting for respawners. They're still getting picked out, staggered even.
So both teams going to have Infrasight here. PB and Jam's going to come up onto it. Oh, that was a risky cross there for Fatebringer. Does manage to connect it, but it's okay. For now, we just need to see that payload touch. PB and Jam looking for the duel. Oh my god, 4-star just cannot win. And Sorglos under pressure there as well. PB and Jam is just giving so many headaches right now to Surge. This is going to be this. I mean, really, you can't win the fight from here, surely, if you are Surge. PB and Jam is giving just... I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say.
4-star just didn't have this kind of impact. I think that's the thing at the end of the day, and that's going to be the end of the match, a 4-0, and it just looked more and more dominant as we went along, Jordan. Look, first 2 maps fairly competitive. It went all the way. Look at Hanamura, that was one-sided. Look back at Junktown, that was one-sided.
Oh, Kraken as well. This part was actually pretty cool. We didn't get to see it from his perspective, but he got something like 3 or 4 kills, didn't he?
I hope he kicked. Yeah, he did kick somebody in the face. Really satisfying Zenyatta kick. I don't know what it is about it, but
it's because of the sandals, boys.
It's the
sandals. Do you call them jandals?
No, that's what they call thongs.
Right, but they're kind of
they
like...
are jandals. You can call them sandals too. Jandals and sandals kind of work there.
Okay, you're just going to swap them up. Alter Ego coming through with the victory. Look, I think what we saw from Alter Ego today was a pretty impressive set of games. They dominated those last 2 maps, really very, very one-sided. For Surge, I don't want to say too much against them because honestly, I think it was just a tough matchup. I think that probably Alter Ego is sitting just a little bit higher than maybe we'd pegged them earlier on.
Well, I think coming into it, we sort of thought that they were going to be at least towards the middle of the pack there, which, again, I don't know if we can necessarily say they're going to be above that at this point or below that. We have to see how they go up against someone like Jam. I think that's going to be the real test of where they sit. At least now we have a definite idea that they're not towards the bottom of the table alongside Surge. That
being said, Surge, I think we expected to be in that number 6 place. As sad as that is to say right now, Alter Ego, their biggest test will be coming, I would say the most important test, the biggest test will probably certainly drop Bears and now coming up to Masterminds, but that Jam game for Alter Ego, similar to Legacy versus Serenity, is going to be very telling for what that middle of the pack looks like for Group B.
Yeah, there's a lot still to come. Apparently, by the way, PB and Jam coming out with 58% scoped accuracy. Not too bad at all, to be fair, but the reality is if you're sitting there and no one's contesting you, it's probably easier to hit your shots, right? Because it really didn't feel like anyone was up in his face. They were too busy dying at other points on the map.
The only people that really seemed to be trying to kill PB and Jam there was 4-star taking the 1v1 duel.
I mean, and Milo as well. Milo had a bit of Tracer. We actually got a kill onto PB a couple times and forced PB out a couple other times, and that's kind of when we did see some success from Alter Ego. That was PB and Jam just being forced around a corner or forced to hide, forced to heal again, buying a bit of precious time, but otherwise it was PB and Jam kind of dominating 4-star in those duels.
Well, that one is done and dusted. Let's go and recap it right now with our schedule for today. A big 4-0 coming out for Alter Ego, and I suspect they're going to be feeling a little bit better after that one, Jordan, having lost on their first matchup up against the Drop Bears, which was certainly a difficult one. Coming up next, however, it is Knock Predators up against Masterminds GC. We'll have to see whether that one's going to go in the same fashion as the Alter Ego Surge game did. And then after that, Legacy up against Serenity. AVRL, I don't think you're in the next matchup. Do you want to give us a couple of quick thoughts on that one?
I think Masterminds are going to come out really strong for this. I know how much they prepared for Contenders, and they're about to show it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I've got nothing to really say against it. I do think Masterminds should come away with a good result as well.
Well, are the gentlemen correct? We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, our next matchup of the day,